After weeks of the bulls being absolutely pounded, have the bears now been caught with their pants down, covered in their own filth? As Bitcoin quickly makes a second attempt this week above the 21 daily moving average after a fierce rejection earlier this week. Has momentum solidified for an upside move? And many critical moving averages are down massively over the last few weeks, but the question is, does Bitcoin have the thrust to bust? With Bitcoin's next weekly candle opening in only hours, there's only one thing left to do. Let's get dumped on. Hey, everyone. I'm your host, Christopher Crust, and today is a day that we'll remember for at least the next 2 to 3 days, potentially even more. Absolutely wild. So over the last few days, we've seen Bitcoin get a fierce rejection below the 21-day moving average, and now we're above it briefly. But the question is this going to be a real move or just another line in the long line of continuation pattern breakouts that fail? And as well, a lot more shaping up on these charts, and after weeks and weeks of getting absolutely pounded and blasted, there's only so much pounding and blasting that Bitcoin can take before it decides it's time to get back on the saddle and pump its way to massive gains. So if you guys are new to this channel, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, give me these absolutely time-sensitive alerts. And without any further magoo, let's dump on in. Wow, so in only mere hours, Bitcoin will be getting a new weekly candle open, guys. And if we take a look here, we did see the DXY actually end out kind of weak. So that's very interesting, right in our resistance zone here. We are going to be on the watch out for a double top type pattern here, very similar to like what we saw top out the very last day of March 2021. And again, a rejection there with continued downside dumpiness will initiate massive potential for Bitcoin and the whole crypto space moving forward. And as well, today you can see this is one of the very first times that we actually have a green candle open and kind of stay right above the 21 daily moving average for the entire altcoin market cap in a very long time, right? It's been a very long time as the altcoin space was plummeting below the 21-day back on May 17th, nearly 2 months ago. It's been struggling right at the 21 DMA over and over and over. In fact, about 2 or 3 weeks consistently just hugging to try and get back there after a fierce rejection in the middle of June. And now this is a really good attempt. We spent the last week really trying to get above it. Got some moves to the downside, but the downside momentum can only last so long. And like I've been saying for the past few weeks, there have been absolute key opportune times that if Bitcoin is going to dump below 30K and stay there and initiate maybe a move to 20,000 or even below 20,000, those opportunities show up on the charts, and Bitcoin has to get pushed down at those key moments. And Bitcoin did not. Okay, it got some dumps over the last few weeks, definitely some pretty big dumps. But as you can see on this chart, really we have failed consistently to really set a low lower than the May 19th low and stay below it. On this chart, it did not go below the May 19th lows, but there are quite a few charts to where the price did dip a little bit below the May 19th low over the last 2 months. But realistically, even when it did, on some of those charts, it immediately shot back up. It blasted back up and kind of just got magnetized back to the 21-day moving average here. Basically, my point is the bear's opportunity to push Bitcoin below 30K concretely and potentially 25,000, even 20,000 or lower, like so many bears were screaming, that opportunity has come and gone. And if an opportunity like that's going to come again, I think they're going to have to wait a little bit because Bitcoin now, I think, has a potential to move much higher here. But again, big test. So obviously the altcoin space looking a little strong here. Ethereum looking very strong over the last week, breaking above its 21 daily moving average. Is this indicative of what Bitcoin is going to do as well? I think it's very likely that Bitcoin is going to at least have a few days above the 21 DMA after, getting rejected here on June 29th. And just coming right back up. We had a move down. Again, you see that selling pressure or that downside momentum just not very strong here. What did we go from like 37,000 to 33,000 right back up? So you see that downside momentum just getting weaker and weaker. And now we're seeing altcoins starting to show strength, which in the past has been a leading indicator for Bitcoin moves to the upside. I remember back in even the summer of 2019, a lot of altcoins started exploding, and that hinted at what was about to come, where Bitcoin rallied, I believe, we can even just go back it was this rally back here that I'm talking about, from like 3 to 4,000 all the way up to like 14,000 or 13,000. So that was led by altcoins moving first. Bitcoin was not the leading indicator there. Other altcoins were the leading indicator for Bitcoin. So is that what we're seeing here with Ethereum and some of the altcoins and just the entire altcoin market cap? I think it's very likely. And I think a rebound bounce is going to happen here anyway, because Bitcoin's been just way too dumpy. As well, we still have the bullish divergence here on the daily chart. We are above this descending channel line now, which is absolutely very, very, very big. We're above the 21 DMA, which I think is the biggest. And for the most part, we held this level of support that we talked about. We came a little bit below it. We immediately bounced right back into it. And overall, I would say that that was a successful retest. And Bitcoin has a big opportunity here, but again, it's not going to be easy. It has this huge level of horizontal resistance, the point of control as well, right around 36.5. Now we have the 50-day moving average coming right down to meet us as well at exactly 36.5. So that's big. Bitcoin has to flip those, and those are just pretty much Bitcoin has immediate tests less than $1,000 of where we sit right now. So all of the resistance, all of the biggest resistance, I think, is literally sitting right on top of us now, because over the last couple of weeks, moving averages have come down. We've cemented this huge area of resistance now because we failed it so many times. But as well, as we talked about 2 days ago, we had this bullish cross on the 6 hour, and I think we have a really nice attempt. We're going to see a really nice attempt to get back above here. So remember, we got rejected exactly at this resistance box, got pushed down, found support exactly at this resistance box, and now we're struggling to re-enter the same resistance box, the bottom of it. So again, we also have a very critical moving average on the 6 hour, right at 36.5. So guys, breaking 36.5 and even the $37,000 range is a huge test for Bitcoin. And if it can break that, maintain that, probably retest, backtest that, then I think 40K is very likely. But the real thing, the real test over the next month is, are we going to have a retest of 50,000 US dollars, which I think becomes exceedingly likely if we can break the $42,000 range. But yeah, at this moment we're like $7,000 below that. So it's a pretty big test. It's a pretty hefty task. We have all of these key resistance levels and support levels to look at, these 5 major ranges, I think. And yeah, Bitcoin's just doing well so far. There is the potential for this kind of like falling wedge, which could be breaking out to the upside over this month. And again, I personally think that in this month of July, we are going to see at least a 20% pump to the upside. And that's something I've been saying for a few videos now, and I just think it's very likely because we've gotten beaten down so much. We've barely had any actual bounces here. So even if it would be a bounce that ends up being a fake out and we get pushed back down to lower levels, I think it's inevitable, period. Whether it's the reversal where we just kind of re-enter a bull market over the next 2 months, I think that's very likely, or a very bullish trend. Or either way, I think we're just going to have a pump of at least 20% regardless. And again, that roughly brings us to the $40,000 range. I think we're going to at least see $40,000 plus targets in the month of July, regardless of which way the broader trend is. I think we're going to see that bounce regardless. And as well, in this 1 hour chart, you can see, guys, this really highlights that big level of resistance more than anything. A key fettuccine level. It's right around the point of control. It's a huge level of horizontal resistance as well. And yeah, it's just this massive range right here, pretty much gravitating between 36.5 and 37.5 thousand US dollars for Bitcoin. So this is going to be a pretty big test. Does it have the juice? I personally think even if it does, it's not going to just happen in a single daily candle where we do something like this. It's going to take some time still. We're still in the middle of a lot of chop and a lot of sideways trading. But we have a really good opportunity here. And as well, we get a weekly candle close. Look at these pathetic weekly candles, like 7 of them. Just so pathetic, all within the same boring range. But as well, we do see the MACD kind of twisting up a little bit. Be interesting to see that. We have the RSI actually as well, kind of getting a double bounce right here, a potential double bottom on the RSI of this very key level that we saw many, many times in the past 10 years of Bitcoin bounce at, okay? Right around the 44, 45 on the RSI, weekly RSI, very, very big for Bitcoin. Will it have the juice to boost Bitcoin to absolutely key levels? Remains to be seen, but I do think we're in store for this new upcoming week for at least an attempt of 36.5, and if we can break that and maintain that, that will be the telltale sign that we might have room for a pump. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, turn on absolutely time-sensitive alerts. Make sure to check out the bonuses, the hardware wallets, the TA, everything in the description below. All max bonuses, all some very good offers there. And as well, you know, July 4th, pretty big holiday, I guess, for America. Yeah, so maybe Bitcoin will set off like a firework and absolutely explode our piggy banks to the upside. Without any further ado, that's it for me. Bye-bye.